Im Arschschuh bereits fast 7 wir vorne trotzdem eine ganz klare neue saubere Linie im Arschschuh, 500 noch hier Vorsprung. Bestzeit und eine neue Saisonbestzeit hinein.
An ihrer aka Jessie nach Hause.
Ziel. 1:09:89.
Startspurläufer 3 mit dem Monobob.
High in the Engadin Valley in the Swiss Alps, St. Moritz nestles, and alongside it is one of the oldest sporting venues on the planet. The Olympia Bobrun has been running down the hill from St. Moritz to the village of Celerina for over a century, and it's still the fastest and the best track in the business. The first heat of race 4 of the Women's Bobsleigh World Cup, we have an all-German top 3. One Olympic champion and the 2 most recent world champions in women's bobsleigh. The reigning world champion Lisa Buchwitz lies in 3rd position. And she is just 21/100ths away from the lead. In 2nd place, just 100th in front of him, are Olympic champions Lauren Alter and Deborah Levy. Lauren Alter also the monobob world champion on this track back in 2023. But the first heat leaders, the reigning world champions, the world champions from 2023 rather, Kim Kalicki and Leonie Fiebig, claimed world championship gold over 4 heats on this track, and they lead everybody else by 0.2 of a second. So Kim Kalicki looking for her first win of the season. Lauren Alter having won here last year. Kim Kilicki, the world champion, that was her second straight win here. Behind them, Melanie Hassler and Deborah Annan ahead of Alana Myers-Taylor and Kaylee Humphreys. Alana with 4 wins on this track, Kaylee with 3. Most successful woman in a bobsled on this track is Sandra Kiriasis of Germany with 5 gold medals, including a world championship as well. 2007 she won it. So 24 sleds becomes 20 in the second heat, and they go in reverse order of their first heat performance. So we go last to fast. Air temperature, that's more like it. None of your -2 nonsense. -12. That's what you call a daytime high in St. Moritz. And then the ice temperature -9. Now, ice temperature yesterday was -2. And that, as you might appreciate, is quite a lot colder. What it means is the ice is very hard and very fast. Now, what that also means is when you're expecting those conditions, then you'll go for a fat runner to give you maximum speed, minimum friction. But it also means that the faster the ice, the quicker you're getting to the corners, and the less control you have from the steering. So, yeah. That's where the knowledge and the experience and a degree of bravery comes in as well. We go 20 down to 1. Our start draw starts with Canada's Melissa Lotte Holtz, followed by Adele Nichols, Cynthia Appiah, Andrea Grecu, and so on, until we get down to our last group, the Americans, the Swiss, and the Germans. Race 4, IBSF Women's Bobsleigh World Cup. We're in St. Moritz in Switzerland. Melissa Lotte Holtz and Leah Walkenden for Canada, kicking off the second heat. 11th fastest start. Not one of Mel's better drives down here, I think, in the first heat. They only came in 20th place. Second start is a 5:68, so exactly the same as their first, 300 slower than their first, in fact. Little tap down to wall. Out of wall, you can see the sun breaking through. It's been cloudy and mild for the last couple of days. Bitterly cold overnight. Habitually, the overnight lows at this time of year get down to -20 Celsius. Daytime highs get up towards -10, which is brilliant for a natural track. Great line out of Horseshoe, down through Shamrock into Devil's Dyke, takes the hit there. Smooth run. First heat 1:10.38. Now an hour after she went down before, the track will feel quicker. Not because of track prep, just because it's freed up a little. 1:36.1, it's a bit less frosty. Good speed at the bottom, 84.6 miles an hour. And 1:09.85, 1:10.38 in the first heat. So a little bit of tidying up, a little bit of readjustment, and really getting those steers correct. But some of that is going to be the track improving as well, getting quicker and quicker.
Ready to go in 30 seconds.
Well, here in Nash and Dixon, beg your pardon, that's Snake 1 and 2. Little rocking rolling again, high in the forest. That extra speed, getting on where you did in the previous run, but carrying more speed onto the curve. Gives you better height. So Melissa Lotte Holtz, Leah Walkenden lead. Next up, Adele Nichols and Kaya Placide. First out, and Adele's heart must have sank when she saw that. Every other track, pay good money for that. Here, no, you're on the frostiest ice. They made it through, so good drive from Adele. Good start with Kaya behind her as well. Kaya in her 5th World Cup start, Adele in her 6th as a driver. The great Sean Olsen behind, their ice coach. Working with Graham Richardson again this season. Now they started 19th quickest with 5.78 getaway. Adele still recovering. Oh, drops in late. Still recovering from having a foot run over and sliced wide open by the runners a couple of races ago. She had to sit in Winterberg. It was not pretty looking. Nice run so far though. 300s behind Melissa, and they started 600s behind her. So They had a slender first heat advantage of 0.04 of a second, now back in the green. Nice run down through Nash and Dixon. Gets a good run up to Horseshoe, medium line. She's not going big height, but she nails the landing nicely. Better speed than the Canadian sled. Again, something chattering away under the sled, hearing a lot of that stuff we can hear. That's not the runners on the ice. 131 kilometers an hour down at the bottom, 137.7, 85.5 miles an hour into Martineau, out of Portago. Where have they gone? Out of the wind is where, 109.54. Well, that was 0.3 of a second, 3100ths quicker than Melissa Lottholz on that run. So a 3500ths of a second advantage. And this will have felt a very different track from how it was at 9 o'clock this morning. Everything running onto the corners much faster. Adele, oh, just get her feet caught in the steering gear, drops in time. One hand on the D-rings, two hands on the D-rings, just in the nick of time.
10 seconds.
Adele Nicol, the leader with Kaya Placide. Next up, Cynthia Appiah with Morgan Ramsey for Canada. 17th best start, and they were 16th in the start draw. It was an untidy run from Sin. At the bottom she was saying, surprisingly, that was one of my better runs this week. So clearly the love-hate relationship with Sam Moritz does become a thing. 5.80 the start, but a little ting there off the wall from kink 1 to kink 2. Oh, and another tiny little tap as well. And you say, what difference does it make, Martin? Well, if you were running and you brushed your shoulder against a brick wall, you would feel that drag. And all right, it's ice, and all right, it's not cloth material, but still the bunk hitting the wall drags energy out of the sled, and it's that energy which helps accelerate you down the run. Out of Horseshoe again, like Adele Nicol, medium height, better speed than the British sled, and only a whisker behind. 0.06 of a second is absolutely nothing. Still got good speed, could be close. She wasn't far ahead, only had 1500s in hand, long skid down to Martineau. Oh, that might be damaging. Is she going to be ahead at the line? She's not. 800s back. Well, little applause from Lyndon Rush. Sometimes you get on with the track and sometimes you don't. Even if you like it, sometimes you just frustratingly can't get your head around it, and it sounds like it's been that sort of a week for Cynthia Appiah. I mean, everybody loves coming to St. Moritz. The track is unique, it's so special, it's so long, it's so fast.
Hey everyone at home, thanks for watching.
I mean, the scenery is to die for. Yes, it's expensive, but the best doesn't come cheap. Which is why I cost so much money. Andreea Crecu and Teodora Vlad of Romania. 11th fastest start, and Andrea disappointing 17th at the finish. Again, a little bit like Cynthia Appiah, it was an untidy run from the Romanian. She finished 12th here last year. Her best result in St. Moritz, 6th place. She's a long way from that. 5.65 the start for this duo that have been together so long. Best velocity so far. And again, sitting way down in the sled, stretching up to look over the cow. And that's really important at high speed. I mean, she's done it all her life as she's driven. She's always sat down low, even though she's a very tall athlete, to stay out of the wind. And this is the highest speed that we get to all year long, and more sustained high speed than anywhere else. And so seating position is absolutely critical. Oh! Rattling away the speed there, very high and loopy. It's as close to somebody losing it in the forest as we've come this week. She's not having a good run below Horseshoe at all. She's gone from 3500s up into the red. Slowest speed at the bottom, across the line. Third place, 109.94. Well, an improvement on 110.17, but that could have been an awful lot better. Frankly, actually, could have been quite a lot worse. She came close in the forest. In that section below Devil's Dyke, Tree Bridge Leap. Look at out of Horseshoe. Does she hit hard going into Telephone? Wait for the ice to come up. Yes, she does. And then here in the that doesn't look pretty the second time round either, does it? Yikes. That was out of Shamrock into Devil's Dyke. Goodness me. Adele Nicol, the leader after the first four sleds. Next up, Ying Qing of China with 19-year-old rookie Liv Chen behind her. Her first bobsleigh race. Chen, I beg your pardon, her second. She raced in Innsbruck before Christmas. So Ying Qing making her return. Last race of any kind was in the World Championships in Winterberg. So she's been recovering since last February. 584, 583 getaway, so 20th fastest start in the first heat. And clearly, although she's healthy enough to drive, she is not fit. But good to have at least one of our Chinese athletes back in women's bobsleigh. Ying Qing, Wai Mingming have been flying the flag for China for the last 4, 5, 6 years. Tied for the lead, 1300s ahead of Adele Nicol after the start. She started a tenth slower than the British duo, and that lack of speed now catching up with her out of Horseshoe. Nice exit, nicely out of Shamrock into Devil's Dyke. And then down into Nameless, Tree, Bridge, Leap, and then the fourth of the right-handers at Gunter Sachs. A 10th back, second best speed. Nicol was fastest at the bottom. She's not going to catch her. She doesn't, but she moves into third, 109.93. Adele Nicol needs to stop leaping up and down on her injured foot, otherwise we're not going to take the fact that she may not be entirely fit entirely sensibly. But good to see celebrations in the leaders' box. And good to have the Chinese back as well. Ying taking again a moment or two to get in. Liv Chen, they're running it too far. They're driving it into kink one, and that doesn't help. Not the biggest height in Horseshoe, but drove it off smoothly. And the transition on to Telephone is so important for speed low down. 5 in, Adele Nicol leads for Great Britain, 15 to go. 15th place after the first of 2 heats, Margot Bock and Carla Sénéchal of France. And Margot, one of her best ever World Cup results has come on this track. She's had a top 6 finish here. Last year finished in 4th, her absolute best. So 5.65 getaway. Now there's a big advantage from 4700s over Adele Nicol to 5400s. They started quicker than the Brits by nearly a 10th, and they had a handy first heat advantage. That continues to grow. Nice out of Nash and Dixon, but gets tapped away. Double tap into Horseshoe, low line. Looks like she got cleanly onto Telephone. Taps into Shamrock. Into Devil's Dyke, she's got the best speed, 103, 64 miles an hour now. Little late exit. 71.5 miles an hour. Meandering down the straight. Little late exit off Gunter Sachs. She managed to hold it. Best speed at the bottom, 85.7. Takes the lead away from the Brits. 2 at a 109.23. So that run alone, 62 hundredths than the Brits. So what on earth went wrong in the first run? That was 73 hundredths better than her first. That's more like it. No wonder Bruno Mijon was looking a little bit ho-hum. And that's with this double tap, and that's going to be worth at least a tenth, maybe two by the bottom of the run. It just takes speed out and leaves you low. Means you have to steer harder off horseshoe. And again in the forest, tapped up into Gunter Sachs. 14th place sled in the first heat, Keishalov and Azaria Hill. Just 300s in hand over French duo Margabok and Carlos Seneschal, but Keisha came early in the heat, 7th out of the start, so didn't have the best of the ice. 5:57 to get away, stay off the wall, come on baby. Just manages to breathe it over. You don't want to steer, maybe just lean the body, tilt the head, shift the backside, just try and nudge the sled away from the wall there. 1300s up on the French. First of our 4 US sleds out of Snake 1 and 2. Little bit rocky and rolly in Snake. Comes nicely onto Nash. Comes nicely out of Dixon. Oh, just gets the tiniest nudge off the wall. Nice height. 1500s up. Little tap into Devil's Dyke. Better speed than we've seen from anybody so far. Still the top speed. 72 miles an hour now they're doing in the forest. Good advantage for Keishalov. Nice looking second heat. 138, 86.03 miles an hour. And across the line, new track record, 108.95. 98 hundredths of a second better than her first run. Some of that is ice, a lot of that is dialing herself back in. And it could have been faster. She didn't actually hit the wall. She got nudged away by the edge of the track. Nice height in horseshoe. Nice rotation. Steers the sled off beautifully. Down into telephone. Nice and clean. Azaria Hill left. Keishalov right. Your new leaders. Bianca Ribby and Niamh Hockey for Canada. They were one of the last sleds out, 23rd of 24. Had good ice to work with, and Bianca can produce decent results on this track. Previous best here has been a 14th place finish. That was last year in her only World Cup race. So she's ahead of that now. Starts a little slower than the current leaders. 5:68 getaway. She only had 400s in hand over Keishalov, and that effectively means, especially with that slower start, that Bianca also has to go a second quicker, and that will mean breaking the new track record to stay in the lead. Quarter of a second back. Margot Bock of France is 3/10 back at the finish line. And this is going to be a loss of ground for Bianca Ribby. The final one of our Canadian sleds. Cynthia Appiah is in 4th, and she is 1 second back. 4700s is the deficit, second best speed in the line. This should be good enough for 3rd. It is good enough for 3rd, 109.46. Well, 4th best start, 3rd at the finish line. Well, she doesn't get a PB. 14th last year remains her best result, at least for the moment here. 3rd place with 12 to go. She'll be no worse than 15th. Ooh, everybody struggling to wriggle in when they're running that far down towards kink 1.
10 seconds for...
It's a fine balance between getting the extra steps into that speed at the start and making a mess of kink 1. Now then, what a run this duo had in the first heat. Viktoria Czernanska for Slovakia with Lucia Makrosova. They've been together in every one of their 13 World Cup starts. 16th place in last year's race, 14th in the World Championships, and 12th place in the first of our 2 heats. I beg your pardon, 12th place in the first of our 2 heats. A 10th ahead of Keisha Love from the first heat. 5:79 getaway. So they start 2200s slower than the Americans. But Victoria drove superbly in the first run. 4th on the splits off the 7th fastest start. She's only the 9th sled down. So comfortably out-driving her starting performance in the first heat, and this is another good-looking run. Comes out of Dixon and hits the wall. She's not going to hold her position at all, I'm afraid. And with 3 tenths between leader Keisha Love and Margot Bock of France, she might drop a couple of spots, but she's got 2nd best speed, 2800s back. 3rd best speed, still in 3rd on the splits. Needs a good bottom part of the track, really good speed at the bottom. Top speed, could be 2nd at the line, ahead of the French. Where is this going to leave her? It is 2nd at the line, ahead of the French by 1 precious 100th of a second. So 11 to go, she will be no worse than 13th. That is her best result in St. Moritz. 16th in last year's World Cup, 14th in the World Championships, no worse than 13th. That is a personal best in Switzerland for Czernanska. Silver medalist in the Youth Olympics here in 2020, Viktoria Czernanska. And a good day for Slovakia in the women's bobsleigh. There's Lucia, her brakewoman. So it is still Keisha Love and Azaria Hill who lead as we get to our 11th place sled in the first heat. Katie Bayer with Nicola Pichler behind her. Let's see what Kathy has got for us. A 5:57 start, faster than the Americans, or tied with the Americans. So her first heat advantage stays alive, 1700ths of a second. It is a tight group here, and she uses her advantage to just creep away a little from Keisha Love. Best result here, 7th place. She tied for 9th last year. 3300s up. This is more like it from Katie Bayer. $3,700s up. Speed is excellent. Keisha Love was a whisker quicker. Better speed now than the Americans, building the advantage back up. And at this rate, it's a new track record for Katie Bayer. Only the 4th best speed at the bottom, but it should be inside Keisha Love's record. And it is 1:08.78. So the fastest sled in the first heat, 1:08.98. We're now down to 1:08.78, 1.2 seconds quicker. And we still haven't got to the top 10 from heat 1. Good second run from Katie Bayer, though. And that was 98. I know, beg your pardon, it was 1.02 seconds quicker. This way, Ilko's easy to spot. Come on, girls, you know where he is. It's a big, ugly Dutch one. Katie Bayer leads after the first of our 2 heats here in St. Moritz. Well, just look at this. Nestling high in the mountains, St Moritz is just such a glamorous location. It is Monaco for bobsleigh racing. It's got the glamour, it's got the prestige, it's got the name, and it's got a fabulous track. With his back to us, closest to the camera with the grey hair, Hans Hilterbrand, Swiss sliding legend. You often see lots of familiar faces here, friends and family, but particularly former sliders will come here. It's always a great place to meet the great and the good of years gone by. Keisha Love there, Azaria Hill on the left, just eased out of the leader's box. Now, you don't need the jacket in the sun, but in the shade, you absolutely do. Up there on the sunny gallery above the starting area, the cafe and bar doing brisk business, I'm sure. And
Oh gosh.
Morgan Ramsey, good gosh, our Canadian brakewoman with Cynthia Appiah. Looking down there into Celerina, the ruined campanile of the old church. And down there on the lake, lots of people langlaufing, skiing, skating. There's your leaders. Kati Bal on the left and Nicola Pichler on the right. And you can hear the train that runs into St Moritz, under the arches of which run not just our bobsleigh track, but the Cresta Run as well. Beautiful way to get to St Moritz. It is the best way to arrive, without question, on the train from Zurich, one of the world's great railway journeys. 10 down, 10 to go. Race 4 of the IBSF Women's Bobsleigh World Cup in glamorous St Moritz in Switzerland. One of our 2 Aussie contenders got through into the second heat, Brianna Walker with Chiara Rodinguez. Teammates Sarah Blizzard did not get through after an early start with her brakewoman Hayley Sylvester. But this duo, 6 fastest at the start, only 10th at the bottom. Disappointing run from Brianna Walker. 5:55 getaway, quicker start. Neat out of kink 1. Neat out of kink 2. Let's see what she can produce. Only her second World Cup start of the season. She was 5th in Winterberg in the women's race last week. 1 race in the World Cup. And this is her second. Junior Worlds here in 2018. And 3 World Cup races. Didn't race in the World Championships in 2023 in the women's bobsleigh. Only 1600ths ahead of Kati Bal. She was a 10th up over the Austrian from the first heat. So this is not going to be a stellar run from Brianna Walker. But if she can hang on, it'll be a top 10 finish. She's going to be ahead at the line, and it is a new track record, 1:08.69. So she and coach Pierre Luders will have to think a little bit more about the track. We'll be back here in 2 weeks' time, so they'll get another women's race and 2 monobob races, which I'm sure will please Bree. Better when you can see. Yeah, her visor misted up in the first heat. You can see there, she comes down to Horseshoe, gets a little sideways, but she can at least see where she's going. A 9th place finish, her best in women's bob on the track. Again, pretty low line into Horseshoe, but that was that tap pushing her away to driver's left. And out of Telephone, out of Shamrock into Devil's Dyke, takes a little tap there. All right, well, she has the lead and a new track record. So is it track records all the way? Oh, Lolo Jones. I'm loving that headshot. Lolo Jones returned last week to World Cup racing for the first time in nearly 4 seasons with Alana Myers-Taylor. Now with Sylvia Hoffman. 5:53 the start, so adding another couple of hundreds to their advantage over Brianna Walker. Sylvia Hoffman racing here for the first time in her young career. 300s up from the first heat. Couple of hundreds quicker at the start, tied with Walker. Now, Brianna Walker's got more driving experience overall and more of this track than Sylvia Hoffman. Sylvia in only her 4th World Cup race, her first time here as a driver. It takes a while to learn any of these tracks, and this is the longest and the fastest. And the subtle nuances of the steers here are so important. Slipping away out of the lead group. This is going to be 3rd place at the line, ahead of Keisha Love. 2nd place at the line, slips in and ties with Katy Bile. Well, she loses 1 spot potentially, but your first ever race here, and you are going to be in the top 10. I'm taking that. And Lolo Jones in the back, loving life. Entering her 3rd decade as a competitor. Returned to sprinting in the summer. Found out actually she still has what it takes. As a result, decided she'd come back to her other passion and bobsleigh. And apparently still has what it takes on ice as well. Top 10, Sylvia, don't knock it. Now then, another one of the standout runs in the first heat, Poland's Linda Wajszewski and Klaudia Adamek. Silver medalist in the world 4x100s, gold in the 4x2, the brakewoman. A really big addition to the Polish team this season. And Linda Wajszewski, boy, did she drive well. Now let's see what they can produce. 8th fastest start for the tiny single sled team from Poland, but ran it all the way down onto kink 1. 5:55 is a good start, but only the 6th best velocity after that little meander out of kink 1. Clean down to wall. 200s back on our current leader, Brianna Walker. Well, she only had 800s in hand. She started the same speed as the Aussies, but lost some of that ground. And Bree's run looking good in this company. 1100s back into Horseshoe. Nicely out of Horseshoe. Little rocking and rolling into Telephone and into Shamrock and a tap into Devil's Dyke. Only the 4th best speed. She's top 3 at the line. It will be a top 10 result for the first time in her career, and surely the first time for Poland, maybe in all of bobsleigh, certainly in women's bobsleigh. At the line, 2nd place, only 1300s back. And that is 6/10 faster than her first heat. Previous best ever World Cup result has been a 9th. She was 13th here last year, and she will be no worse than 9th again. This will be a career high equaling day at the very worst for Poland. Well, you might have to go back to the 1930s or 40s to find a similarly successful day for Polish bobsleigh. Certainly in my 20+ seasons in the sport, I don't remember Polish men having top 10 result in 2 or 4. Next up, Kaylee Humphries with Jasmine Jones behind her. And Kaylee 7th place. Her advantage over Bree Walker, 1600ths of a second, and starts only 200 slower. And you can never count out Kaylee Humphries. Drives so well. And as ever, those trademark goggles that she's been wearing since she started driving back in, whenever it was, 2000 and single digits. 14 World Cup races on this track, Kaylee. +1 as a push athlete. Nice looking lines. Best speed Altenburg is probably her favourite track of them all. But Katie Humphries, a 3-time gold medalist on this track. Last time back in 2020 with Lauren Gibbs, best speed at the bottom. Looking for a top 6 finish to the day. Across the line, track record 1:08.37. Coach Brian Scheimer happy with that. And Jasmine Jones, when you're in the back seat, you really feel how smooth the run is. You know your driver is absolutely flying. Head buried between your knees, out of the wind, but you feel every nuance of it. Nice run from Kaylee Humphries. Track record takes the lead with 6 to go.
And 10 seconds, Ilana Myers-Taylor.
So Kaylee Humphries in the leader's box. We'll have an American leader after this sled as well, because it's Ilana Myers-Taylor and newcomer Sadie McMullen. Sadie, a sprinter and jumper, and making her World Cup debut. Competes for, well, has competed for the University of Wyoming, gets in down better this time, 5:59, little nudge off the wall. And in the red behind Kaylee Humphries. She was only 200s up from the first heat, started 200 slower. That little nudge off the wall just costing her a fraction in terms of pace as well. This is going to be very close between these two athletes. Kaylee, a 3-time gold medalist on the track. Ilana, a 4-time winner. Last time for Ilana back in 18-19 season with Lauren Gibbs behind her. She's won here with Lolo Jones, Brianna Jones, and twice with Gibbs. 200s up, better speed by a whisker than Humphries. Little late exit. Gaps are tiny, but the speed is just there to edge her in front of the line. This should be a new track record. Kaylee Humphries was a smidge faster, but at the line, it is Ilana, 1:08.36, 100th of a second faster in that run than Kaylee Humphries. The track record is cut again, and Ilana leads. So Sadie McMullen, her new brakewoman, making her World Cup debut today. Her first official race in a bobsled ever. And she gets in St. Sadie, after this, everywhere is downhill in the Glamour Stakes. Climbs high in Horseshoe, holds that late height, rolls it off down into Telephone. She loves this place. 5 to go. 2 Swiss sleds, 3 Germans. The US are 1-2 at the moment. And what a run for Deborah Annan, with Muswama Kambunji coming onto the back of the sled. She was expected to have a new brakewoman behind her, but that plan changed. 5:59 first start, 5:57 second start. Finished in 10th place on her World Cup debut last week in Winterberg. Dad Martin Annan, you may have heard of him. He runs a restaurant in Switzerland. Yeah, he was a bobsledder as well. Yeah. He was there watching, and I'm sure he's watching. If the restaurant is open and he has to be there, then he'll be watching online. If not, somewhere here in the crowd, Deborah Annan slipping behind Ilana Myers-Taylor as they come down to Horseshoe. Great height, drives it down. Don't forget, only her second World Cup race. Ilana Myers-Taylor in her 99th as a driver. Deborah Annan behind the 2 Americans, who are separated just by 300ths of a second. She's not going to end up with a 5th place finish here, but it will be her best ever World Cup race. 3rd at the line will be no worse than 7th. She was 10th last week, 108.56 run. Doesn't get the track record, doesn't hold her spot, but what a big day for Switzerland's Deborah Annan. A year ago, she was here as a forerunner, learning her art, and now she makes her first World Cup start in Switzerland, and she will be firmly in the top 10. Look at the height in horseshoe. She knows where she's going and what she wants to do. Another big day for Deborah Annan. What about Melly Hasler? 4th place here last year with Mara Morell. Junior World Championship bronze. A couple of years ago, she was 4th in the World Championships 2023 on this track as well. 1900ths of a second out of the medals. This has to be absolutely epic for Mel Hasler to get in amongst the top 3. 5:55 is a good start with Mara Morell. And again, look at her leaning around the sled, just trying to duck her head, even on these little short straights. Martina Fontenev used to do that as well, the Swiss driver. She used to duck her head between kink 1 and kink 2. If it was going straight, it's fine. Get out of the wind, gain 100th, help the sled accelerate. 1400s up. Only the 4th best speed. The gaps come down to just a breath in front of Alana Myers-Taylor. Myers-Taylor fastest through the forest here. Kaylee Humphries quickest at the bottom. The City of Sled's not going to match them for pace. Only the 4th best speed. Is she going to be 2nd at the line? 3rd, 1200s back. So Mel does not equal her last 2 results here. 4th places in 23 and 24. 3rd with 3 to go. It'll be a top 6 finish, but not what she was hoping for. 6th in Winterberg, 6th here as well in St. Moritz. Best result so far this season, 4th place in Altenburg. Again, look at her ducking down, just shrugging her shoulders down. Not big height in horseshoe. She was looking for the exit into the forest, but the speed was not there. So Alana Myers-Taylor leads with 3 to go, but Alana was half a second off the lead. And 2900ths away from the medals. Lisa Buchwitz and Nele Skuten. Well, they race together at Altenburg. Then Nele with Kim Kalicki and Sigulda. Buchwitz, the world champion. Oh, big bounce off kink 1. 5:42 start record though. Oh, and a little meandering. 2100ths off the lead, 100th out of silver. Everything up for grabs here. And what is that noise on the sled? Same as we heard from one of the Italian sleds yesterday, something flapping around. I don't remember it making those noises anywhere else. At the moment, in the lead and heading into the medals. 4600s up from the first heat, after the start rather. 5300s up still. 2nd best speed. This should be another new track record and a medal for Lisa Buchwitz. It's not going to win her the race, but it will put her in amongst the medals again, and another new track record, 108.08. So Alana Myers-Taylor and rookie brakewoman Sadie McMullen leave the leaders box. Alana 6th, 11th, 12th, and now 4th place, no worse this season. And for Lisa, 2nd, 4th, gold, and at least a bronze. Start record, but ran it straight into kink one. That, and the little meander here, and a couple of other errors, have probably cost her a chance at a silver. Well, there she is, with Naila on the left. Lauren Alter and Deborah Levy, the Olympic champions, up next. Crashed out of the World Championships here in 2023, where Lisa Buchwitz claimed the silver medal. Nolta won here last year, her first win in St. Moritz. 5:44 getaway. Well, she started 5:53 in the first heat. I mean, that's an epic, impressive, better start. She was 4th out at the start, so she had a fairly frosty start area. She'll have quicker ice conditions by some margin than she had at, what would it have been, 8 minutes past 9. It's now nearly 20 past 10, 11 rather. The track will be a lot faster. 2100s up. Now she was 2/10 off the lead. She's got a great chance though. Best speed we've seen, couple of tiny errors. Lauren Alter, last year's race winner, clean enough down to the bottom. 87.9 miles an hour, new track record, almost rolls it. 107.72. Almost rolled it. But she is thrilled with that one. Excited jibber jabber down at the bottom. Well, a couple of little errors creeping in, ducked ahead for the extra 100th, then hit the wall hard, which will have cost her a few. Oh, Lauren Alter, Deborah Levy, the Olympic champions, lead with 1 to go here in St. Moritz. Last year's winners, or the 2023 World Champions, Kim Kilicki and Leonie Fiebig. It's only Fiebig's 2nd race of the season, recovering from illness before Christmas. They were the World Champions here 2 years ago. World Cup gold in 2022 as well, with Lisa Buchwitz, Kim Kilicki. 5:46 getaway. They have a 2/10 of a second advantage over Lauren Alter from the first heat, and they start just 200 slower. And this is Kim Kilicki's gold to seize. She was the world champion, the best over 4 heats here in February 2023. She was the best over the first heat here, but the gap is shrinking down to 1200s. Last year's winner is our current leader. Kilicki, a 2-time gold medalist, including the World Championships. Single digits. 2nd best speed. Nolta was quickest at every speed trap on the run. Kilicki needs to be really clean here. She's not. 2nd best speed, still in the green. Will she be green at the line? Who's going to win it? Is it another tie? No, Kilicki takes it by 500s. René Spiess and Gert Leopold happy with that. German 1, 2, 3, as in the men's race. Gold for Kim Kilicki and Leonie Fiebig. Lauren Alter, Deborah Levy take the silver. They can't breathe yet. Lisa Buchwitz and Naila Skuten the bronze. First win of the season for Kim Kilicky, the 2023 world champion, a two-time winner, bounces back. Gold in 22, World Championship gold in 23, and now gold in 25. The first of those wins came with Lisa Buchwitz behind her, and Lisa, as a driver, claims the bronze medal here today, just 3 seasons later. And there's your winners, Kim Kilicky and Leonie Fiebig. The world champions here in 2023. Missed out on the podium last year, but they are back on top form. So Kilicky finishing a disappointed 7th last year, but it's a German podium. Behind them, Alana Myers-Taylor, Kaylee Humphries, Melly Hasler and Deborah Annan. Some really strong performances here, and good to see China's Ying Qing back here in World Cup action too. Well, that is it for the women's race. Kim Kilicky takes her first win of the season. So she now has a gold, a silver, a bronze. In fact, she has a gold, a silver and 2 bronze medals. Well, she didn't manage to add to her first heat advantage, but there you go, an all-German podium for the 2nd time this weekend. And they'll be able to enjoy the sunshine this afternoon and watch the men's race. Lauren Alter, the narrow points leader. Kim Kilicky jumps to 2nd, ahead of Lisa Buchwitz by a whisker. Then Melanie Hasler, Kaylee Humphries, Alana Myers-Taylor, Katie Bile and Keisha Love, with Margot Bock and Andrea Grecu round out the top 10 in the chase for World Cup points. 4 races in, the 8-race season. And we will have now our remaining races in the next 4 weekends. It's going to be very busy for bobsleigh. Stay with us as we still have our 4-man race this afternoon. We'll be back at 13:30 CET, 12:30 GMT, 07:30 Eastern, and that is in a little over 2 hours from now. 1 hour from now.